But we should get to the soccer, and let's give an update really on what's happening with the U.S. women's national team. We thought that 2017, or we believe, it will be a big year for them. They've been very public about their fight for equal pay, and now that the calendar has flipped to January, what's happening? What's the latest?
Well, everyone knew that their collective bargaining agreement ran out on December 31st. So you may be asking yourself, why is there no work stoppage? Why did U.S. Soccer announce on Wednesday that there would be a camp in California with basically all the top players who are going to go? Well, what happened is that according to the contract, one of the sides had to give a 60-day notice of a work stoppage before a work stoppage could take place. Neither side did. And so right now they are still operating under the old CBA, and they're going to go forward here. I don't expect a work stoppage at this point because the big news was on December 28th, the Players Union announced they had fired Rich Nichols, their very hard line, very aggressive leader who had been rattling sabers with U.S. Soccer for well more than a year at that point. So clearly now the stance that the U.S. women's players are taking is a softer one, not as hard line, though they're still going to try and negotiate and get the best deal possible.
Was them not filing that 60-day, the 60 days before the work stoppage, was that an oversight by their lawyer? Is that why they moved on from him?
I don't think so, because a year ago he actually had filed the 60-day notice when he was claiming that the CBA ran out earlier. It was later determined by a court that it didn't. Got very complex.
Right, that led to a lot of will they strike, will they not strike before the Olympics talk, sure.
But he had filed the 60-day notice in the past, so clearly he was aware of it. But I know there was dissatisfaction among the U.S. players with how hard a line that Nichols was taking with U.S. Soccer. He had basically been installed by Hope Solo, and she had won over enough players to vote him in as the new executive director of the union a year ago. Hope Solo has less influence now. She's not even she's suspended for a couple more months from U.S. Soccer. Her contract was terminated, and there's a question of whether she'll ever return to the U.S. national team.
Very interesting. So you're not expecting any kind of work stoppage, but what can we expect with regards to their fight for equal pay? Will they get it this year?
Well, there's two things going on here right now. There's the CBA negotiations, and on the other side, there's the EEOC filing that the U.S. women's players made with the U.S. government about wage discrimination compared to the U.S. men's team. So we're waiting for a ruling on that. Now, a CBA, I think it's going to be very hard to negotiate totally equal terms on everything with the U.S. men. Now, some of the areas where they could negotiate equal terms are on things like per diem, business class travel, things like that I think they'll get from U.S. Soccer.